Joe Rogan has explored very grim topics on his huge media platform. I am mentioning those tales that cause great physical unease. Yet the Combs case constantly drags him back inside. Each moment he assumes he sees the entire scope, fresh facts emerge. Plus, he always observes the identical pattern. Same networks, same evil, only various different figures.
Diddy and his oil parties with these 18-year-olds. Like, do I think it's good? No. I want to beat up their dad, but other than that, I don't really give a fuck if there's like 18 to 19-year-olds that are doing this stuff, as long as they're not being like actually like physically. I mean, it seems like what's going on is just like this weird cultish thing where they slowly get creep closer and closer and closer to this thing. Like, oh, I'm here now. All these famous people are here. They're doing this. Like
elaborate parties, lots of money, everything you want. The golden carrot at the end of the stick.
Rogan called the entire event alarming, vile, and more complex than anyone imagined. Since it comes from someone who has basically met everyone, this is not a casual statement today.
Jesus, like just trying to get the documents, like when they're trying to get the Epstein files, like the state of New York, one of the district attorneys was hiding documents that have forced them to give documents. I think there's so many fucking powerful people that are on those lists. There's so many powerful people that went and partied, air quotes, partied. And how many of them went to the Diddy parties? Have you been paying attention to the trial?
Oh, yeah.
Trials. Wild.
This clip will not merely provide the Sean news you have likely seen already. What we're doing now involves collecting every bit here. Cat Williams, Gene Deal, Day 26, Terrence Howard, every person who was mentioning this issue before the whole planet realized, and what they truly stated. Because this is the strangest aspect of the entire account. The folks who understood the most, who were the loudest, they got labeled insane, ignored, canceled. Their lines stopped calling immediately. And now every single claim they made is verified, proven, or found in a legal filing. Very fast, if you are somehow unfamiliar with the Combs story, note that I am not talking about who he is and what he did, since most of my fans already know that. But nonetheless, in brief summary, he is held in jail for trafficking counts right now at this moment.
No party like a Diddy party. How many people like openly talked about being there?
LeBron?
Yeah, how Ashton Kutcher, all these people. Like, you guys all went. You didn't see nothing? You didn't see nothing?
Yeah.
Donnell
went? Yeah.
Look, here is something Williams was highlighting long before most observers were giving attention. 233 recorders inside one mansion, yet not one holy Bible. No green foliage, no nutrients, and no locker keys. He uttered it like a joke. During that period, everyone chuckled. No one is chuckling anymore. And Joe Rogan, he and Andrew Schultz began raising a far larger inquiry during the show. What if this probe is not strictly about Sean Combs? What if Diddy was a handler managing a power scheme for the world's elite figures, possessing what they termed a secret stash? Footage of famous actors doing acts they can never allow to become totally open.
Yeah, so one of the jokes that I discuss on the tour is the fact that they would have these parties in the Hollywood Hills, you know? And then they would have a parking lot where they would shuttle people up. So everybody would meet in this parking lot and they would send shuttles down to, Diddy's parties. And so I wasn't ever invited to the parties, but I was invited to the parking lot because I knew the people that ran the shuttle service. You knew them too, as it turned out. But I would go to the parking lot and I would watch them all go up there. And, they would be thinking I'm coming later. I would just be on the car having a grand old time, smoking and laughing and watching everybody. To see all them big time Hollywood men that I just watched go up there, they all come down off the shuttle.
Rogan also sought to learn where those rumored party videos are. Since if these clips exist and show who others guess they show, all we have observed until now is basically the first part. Joe Rogan tears it all apart. Let us begin with Joe, since his perspective on all this is why the entire view is much broader. During the podcast, Rogan and Andrew Schultz were not only discussing what Sean did, they were debating what Combs reportedly symbolized there. An agent, an asset, someone managing a leverage system for folks far past his own rank. Not only a song icon, a tool of influence for the rich. Next, Rogan pushed ahead and named stars by their titles. He cited LeBron James plus Ashton Kutcher, notably pointing out their absolute hush regarding having attended Combs' notorious social events. His message was clear. At any stage, Keeping quiet is speaking volumes. LeBron James, Ashton Kutcher, both became totally silent, and Rogan took note. Then exists the Jamie Foxx health crisis. You recall when Fox had that strange clinic event and no person could obtain a direct reply regarding what occurred? Rogan faced it directly, stated that as crazy as that toxin idea appears, considering everything which surfaced, it is entirely plausible. And frankly, at this stage of the tale, nothing seems too extreme off anymore. But here is what Joe also performed that not many saw. He offered praise to the individuals who were shouting about all of this from the very start. Persons like Cat Williams and Gene Deal, folks who were mocked at, labeled mental, had their reputation torn down, and now every word they spoke is lying right here in public for the global population to observe. They were correct. They were correct the entire period. Cat Williams, the man who spoke it first. Right before Joe Rogan joined this talk, before the busts, before the cuffs, Cat Williams was already present, posing in the center of the area, mic and grip, speaking items nobody else possessed the bravery to speak out. And the folks who truly paid attention, they already understood what was arriving.
Might have been the difference between Diddy parties and freak-offs. Oh my
They're
God.
giving too because he's sitting in his.
The guy from Chappelle Show?
Yeah.
And then
He's in between
Dave's
his
there
legs.
too, and then Russell Simmons too. Oh boy. But is that at a party or is that just a group of them together?
They were like on a yacht or something like that.
Okay, but that's not the Diddy
No,
party.
yeah. It's not like they were kind of.
I think
You think Diddy was rogue or Diddy was like Epstein type,
that's a good
working for
question.
somebody?
That's a good question. Well, it would be a
'Cause he had the
great way
juice
to,
on
to
lot of people.
compromise celebrities. Yeah.
Yep.
And get them to say whatever you want them to do, get them to do whatever projects you'd like them to do. And you know,
During that turned an iconic room podcast Shay Talk, Kat stared toward the lens plus stated how 2024 should represent the era for honesty, how this business's darkness could get fully revealed. He spoke Sean's title particularly weeks earlier, those legal charges. Weeks. Thus, as this whole fell tumbling over, Kat wasn't surprised. He stayed ready.
No, not they offered him 50 million and he turned it down. Who gonna turn down 50 million? Now I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Cause P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm
Throughout this very discussion, Kat alleged he felt handed $50 million 4 distinct moments plus rejected the deal each lonely hour. Never once, for occasions. Since he realized precisely how agreeing then truly mattered. He labeled this business deception, the trial about how you choose for hand over for glory plus rank. Then Kat stood firm he wouldn't hand over something.
came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side, period.
And then he described a specific scene that genuinely remains in people's minds permanently. Truly, he stated that he never stepped foot inside Diddy's massive Hollywood Hills mansion, never attended those parties, but he silently observed everything from the outdoor parking lot. He watched as high-profile celebrities came back down from that residence. And the manner in which he described what they looked like, sorrowful haunted eyes, Sean John garments, looking greasy, shoelaces untied. It was like something had been stolen from them that they were never ever really getting back. Now, here is where the story becomes even more fascinating. Kat had a stand-up comedy routine years ago where he joked, "You think you're getting a massage? You cannot even stand up. That is why God gave me eczema. I cannot even utilize baby oil." People laughed back then. It was just a gag. Then over 1,000 bottles of mineral baby oil appeared in Diddy's residence. And suddenly that punchline was not so humorous anymore. Kat also highlighted a detail that nobody else was noticing. 233 recording devices in one mansion, but no Holy Bible, no green plants, no nutrients, and no locker keys. He said it like a joke. Turns out it was a literal blueprint. He went even deeper now, too, speaking about what he termed a spiritual warfare happening beneath the surface of the entire entertainment industry. He called Diddy a demon. He said that influence in Hollywood comes with heavy strings, and that those strings can pull even surely the most protected people back down at any second. And then in a GQ talk, Cat went personal. He mentioned Tupac. He said part of his disdain for Diddy goes straight through his deep affection for Shakur. He did not avoid the topic. He pointed straight at the long-standing rumors regarding Diddy's alleged part in Tupac's 1996 killing. His message was quite obvious. If there is certainly a path to catch you, he will find it. Cat also mentioned the Kevin Hart comparison, and this one is sharp. In 2013, Hart stepped onto the SNL platform appearing in a complete dress and wig, staged as a comedy sketch, just a prank. But right after that show, Hart's fame instantly erupted. Netflix contracts, world movies, elite status. Cat, who had refused the dress, was being removed at precisely the same moment. Not because he lacked talent, but because he would not cooperate. His exact words, "Some of us make choices."
So one of the jokes that I discuss on the tour is the fact that they would have these parties in the Hollywood Hills.
Begin with the narrative that halted everyone mid-scroll when it initially emerged today. That morning of Combs' 1999 shooting court verdict. That time that might have finished his total profession. Based on Gene Deal, Sean made his chauffeur park the vehicle right within Central Park. Merely halt right there. Awaiting for them stood a person clutching a Bible. What followed was a complete ceremony. Sean knelt down. The guy ignited sage over him, prayed above him, and then Combs was given a crate with a living pale bird inside. He was ordered to free it, let it soar as a gift. When Sean tossed that bird into the atmosphere, it never flew. Later that identical date, Sean was cleared on every single count, and his student, Shine, accepted the sentence, 10 years in jail for something many folks suspect Sean was equally liable for. Gene Deal was resting in that vehicle observing every second of its progress. Deal also stated something vital about who Sean really is beneath all of this. He doesn't think Diddy was born the beast he became. He claims Sean was crafted, molded by corporate bosses, names like Russell Simmons plus Andre Harrell, who supposedly passed along extremely troubling methods for dominating people, mostly females. Sean did not write the manual. He received it regarding the Cassie Ventura camera footage. He will define what Sean did to her as total human spirit agony. He stated the people nearest to Sean had bits of themselves methodically stripped away one by one merely to maintain their spot in his world. That's not merely harm. That is intentional. Deal also compared Sean specifically with Nipsey Hussle, calling Nipsey a true child of God. He has stated on record claiming Sean served the devil and that his success was linked to evil occult pacts, not hazy, symbolic, blunt, and Deal frames what is hitting Sean now as karma. Very late massive fate. Specifically for how he used Craig Mack and Black Rob, two singers who helped create the kingdom he resided securely on top of. Both passed in tragic ways. And Sean never blinked. Deal's closing point, and it counts. This isn't guess. This isn't theory. He was present. Everything he is claiming is direct evidence from someone who is deep in that circle at the top level.
Free Wolf and Puff from any wrongdoing. So now, before we get to the courts, me and Puff stops in Central Park and we walk towards the boathouse. And it's this man in all black. He's in all black. And he turns and it looked like he had the white collar. So when Puff gets directly to the dude, he gets down on his knees. When he gets down on his knees, this man takes something and it seemed like it had smoke in it and he started doing it around Puff. And then he went back and forth. And then he went up and down with it, sideways with it, then back around him. And then he put it down. And then he put his hand on Puff's head. And I guess he started, saying something. I don't even really know what he said. And when he reached into this case, he came out and you could see something white in his hand. I didn't know it was a bird. I didn't know what it was at first. But he threw it up in the air. And when he threw it in the air, the came straight back down like it was a brick and said, "Bow!" on the concrete. Start walking towards.
Day 26. Living it while everyone else looked away. Okay, this is where it gets really dark. So stay with me. Meet Day 26. The R&B group that came out of making the band for young talented guys signed under Sean Combs' primetime TV. What looked like a golden ticket straight to superstardom. From the outside, it looked like a dream. From the inside, according to the members themselves, it was something completely different. Member Well goes by Q alleged that he received an email from Diddy, not a regular industry email, an email that contained references to human sacrifices. He described the whole atmosphere around Diddy during that period as very scary and weird. Said the whole situation felt sacrificial, like Diddy was, in his own words, trying to hurt me or take me out. Let that land for a second, but it doesn't stop there. Q also alleged that at one of Diddy's gatherings, he was handed a red pill, something he believed was ecstasy. He blacked out completely. When he came to, he woke up in a deeply disturbing situation with people filming around him. He called it what he believed it was, a deliberate setup, a trap designed to capture something they could hold over him forever. And here's the part that makes this impossible to dismiss. Q went to his doctor, told his family, made sure people were on record knowing what was happening because he was genuinely scared that if he came up missing or dead, nobody would know the truth of what had been going on.